Well, let's start. I think I speak for everyone in the world when I say, what the hell was that finale on Pretty Little Liars?
Yeah, it's something else, right? We've known about that for a long time now, and to keep it secret was like very, very difficult for a lot of reasons. But yeah, I don't know. When someone goes, I was on my first leg of my trip, and someone was like, I just saw the finale. What the hell? And I was like, don't shoot the messenger. I literally am just the person that says the lines.
It was good.
You liked it?
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. I watched it, and obviously it was very emotionally charged for a lot of reasons because one, that it was 7 years of my life, and we all were collectively friends and everything. And like seeing, there were lots of Easter eggs in the show also for like the very hardcore fans. If you're a hardcore fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's lots of Easter eggs in the finale because Marlene King wanted to do kind of an homage to how do I say it? The ships of the show and how they came to be and the origins of them. So there's lots of songs that match the first times that they kiss, lots of little things in the background. So it was very fun for us to watch it and see it.
So when did you find out who AD was?
Well, it was... I'm so glad I can tell this story. Because I've been waiting forever, and someone asked. I was like, please, someone ask me. The first time I found out was actually so there's a scene. There's a lot of scenes where Spencer is Alex Drake, and they would be like scheming in the corner, like Troy Bellisario, who plays Spencer Hastings, and Marlene King, who writes Pretty Little Liars and developed it from Sarah Shepard's books. We're out, or they're like scheming in the corner, and they're like, I'm like, what are you guys whispering? And they're like, no, just stand over there, just stay over there. Just do what you're going to do in the scene. And I'd be like, okay, sweet. And then I noticed that Troyan was acting funny in the scenes. I really did. Me, Keegan, I noticed, and I was like, are you okay? It's like, there's something wrong? Do you want to tell us about it? And she'd be like, no, just, it has to do with like schematics. I need to wear the same sweater. And I'm like, okay. And then like a couple scenes happened again, and we were shooting the scene where she kisses, or Spencer kisses Toby before him and Yvonne leave town, and Yvonne eventually ends up dying from the accident. And during that scene, that's Alex Drake. And she was acting so odd that I eventually had pulled Marlene aside, and I'm like, did I do something wrong? Like, why is she treating me, why is she so mean? And she's like, okay, come here. Turn your phone off. Turn it off. Not on airplane. And I'm like, okay, like Jesus. She's like, okay, so Spencer has a twin, and like her name is Alex Drake, and like so she's playing it in the scene, but you're not supposed to know that, so just keep playing like you don't know, like it's Spencer. And I'm like, are you what? Like, so it was like I had all of what the fans experienced in like a little conversation with Marlene King in the corner of like the new brew. Okay, so yeah, that was how I found out.
That's wow. And then so you had to keep that secret for
Yeah,
such a long time.
Couldn't tell any of the castmates either. I was just like Ashley would walk in and be like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Nothing." It was nothing. She's like, "Okay." I'm like, "I can't tell anybody. I know things, and I don't know what to do with it." Yeah.
Nice.
It's really intense.
So Alex Drake, well, Spencer having a twin, kind of had a lot of really heavy implications for Toby. Would they have been kind of explored had the show gone on? Because it's kind of got raped a couple of times there.
Yeah. I don't know. That's definitely a question for the writers. I feel like the way that things were going and the way that the show kind of it populates this certain dialogue of heightened reality at all times, right? So they needed to push that storyline forward faster to explain it. Otherwise, there were plot holes in the story that didn't make sense. And a lot of people were asking those questions throughout the whole series, like, what the hell does this mean? And it never really, what I loved about it is it didn't sweep Mona under the rug as she's still the mastermind, weirdo, crazy person. And at the end, you see there's like China dolls, and they're still playing in the dollhouse.
But
so
how did she get them to France?
Well, I have no idea. How did any of this happen is the real question.
That is
but
true.
all we can do is look at it and enjoy it. It's just like it was a strange, abstract, surrealist work of art, Yeah.
Alright, cool. So what's one of your favorite memories from shooting the show?
So many memories. My memories are not as pinpointed as normal memories would be. Like, people are like, oh, I love when we shot that one episode. I'm like, no, I love it. I like have major memories of like finishing at 3 a.m. with like Troyan or with Ian or like Tyler, and they're my friends. They're like close friends to me, and we would be shooting the show. And before any of us were like known for the show, we were just kids doing television and acting, and we love acting, so we were just all hanging out. But it was like those nights of finishing at 3 a.m. on like a Fraturday, which is what we call a Friday night that goes into Saturday morning. I'm sure all of you know about that feeling of like working into the weekend, but we would do Fraturdays, and we'd be driving back on the little pink go-kart that is a Pretty Little Liars, the pretty little golf cart that they would drive us around Warner Brothers, and just 3 a.m., the early morning mist, and we're just kind of sitting there and falling asleep together, and just having finished a scene. And those were my favorite memories of the show.
Sounds really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately like disgustingly sentimental in my life. So.
Oh, no, it's beautiful. You should be sentimental.
Yeah. my friends are like, shut up. They're probably going to watch this and be like, you are so lame. Yeah.
So, as we've mentioned, the show had some crazy twists and turns.
Yeah.
Is there one that sticks out to you in particular?
Yeah. A lot of one of my favorite episodes that we ever shot was the noir episode, which was fun for me because it had a bunch of twists and turns in it that it just felt so unnatural, and it left the audience on like a goose chase, because they were like, what am I watching here? It's like Adderall causes this, but it was just like, it's like anybody with Adderall at home was like, oof, like dumping it down the sink. But it was I loved it because it was a nod to classic cinema. Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall actually shot scenes where we stood in Warner Brothers stage 6, 7, and 8, and we were able to kind of experience that world with the cinematography, with the lighting, with the structuring, with the camera work. That was really awesome. The makeup was totally different. All that stuff was really fun. So yeah, I would say like that was one of those twists and turns that I really enjoyed. And also, of course, like I loved being able to play A for like one moment where like, wear the black hoodie and I turned around. That was really fun. That was definitely one of those like twists and turns because nobody expected that.
It was an amazing episode. I think it's actually one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
But changing the subject slightly, you've just released your second photography book.
Yeah, it comes out next year. Life, Love, Beauty was such an amazing thing to experience, and I go on these huge book tours and would meet so many fans from the show and so many fans of just photography in general, not just mine, just like people that were like, what, photography book? And I was very excited because I'd been working on Hollywood, the book, it's called Hollywood. I've been working on it as a photographic journal for about six years, 5 years shooting it. But the concept for it was because I grew up in Hollywood, California. I don't know if anybody in this room has been to Hollywood, California.
Yeah.
Have you guys all been? Oh, you haven't. So I wanted to make it accessible to those who live there, are there all the time, those who visited it, and those who have never been there in their life. Because it is such a special place with a dark hidden underbelly. And I couldn't really tell a lot of the stories, but I wanted to include stories into the book in a way that captured the very essence of the dream, the reality, and in a very fine art way, take almost portraiture headshots of everything that I could see. And it ranges from celebrities to transients to street performers to just interesting looking people that are populating Hollywood as we speak. And it doesn't feel dated now, but what I was also doing is that, 20 years, 30 years from now, people can look back on it and it will have a dated feeling to it. Because Hollywood is ever changing and ever expanding, but the dreams and the reality always stay the same. And it's a very young city too. It's not even, it was first started being brought to life in the 1930s. That was
Hollywood Town.
Hollywood Town. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Hollywood Land was originally what it was called. The real estate company was trying to sell it as Hollywood Land, and but I think of it as this Forever Land, which is actually the name of the Instagram that I'm using to put photos, talk about the book, discuss the book, and I just started it, and within 24 hours already hit like almost 10,000 followers. So I'm
Wow.
really excited about that. And
So
yeah.
you should go follow it then.
Yeah, go follow. My Instagram's KEEOONE, and then the new Instagram is called This Foreverland. All one word, no periods, no spaces. But yeah, that was the whole thing. And there's a whole reason why I call it This Foreverland. It's in the book, and I read a little snippet of it in my live stream the other day, and yeah, it's been pretty fun to work on that. And Life, Love, Beauty is great too. That was an amazing book to work on, and I hope to do a lot more photography books.
What do you look for when you're taking a photo?
I always look for an authentic, honest photo, and something that makes me feel something. I've said this before, and I can always like go to it, is I never want to take didactic photographs. I never want to tell somebody how to feel. I I want something that I feel honest about. And I also look at photography as a means of escape for myself, and a means of explanation that could be explainable by anybody. So like, just as you could look at this, little piece of whatever this is and be like, is it gray or black or is it blue? It's like everybody has their own opinions on it. Obviously there's a fact to it, but I do want to take photos that make people think for themselves. And so when I look for photos, I'm always looking at light. That's the first thing I look at, is how is the light on something, and then I go from there.
Sounds like a beautiful process.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, when you look at something, I have a lot of friends that are photographers, and a lot of people will look for different things, and you can see it in their process of work. And I got in a nerdy forum fight right before I got on the plane. And here's the funny thing is, like, people in these forums have no idea who I am, or like what I do, or if I'm an actor or a photographer or anything. So I'll be in these forums and like be posting as like this anonymous blogger, and someone will be like my friend posted this photo of like a car, and the guy commented, and he's like, should have brought up it's underexposed, it should be like 2 stops brighter. And I was like, it's his choice as a photographer to bring us into his world and show us the way that he wants it. And then the guy's like, well, it's technically wrong. And I'm like, why don't you do the photo and then you brighten it up on your own end? And he did it. And I was like, wait, I shouldn't be upset. That's actually beautiful that everybody can have their own vision and make it their own. And that's what I love about photography. Yeah. Anyway, I know, it's so lame. And then this guy at home was like, shut up, stupid. You know nothing about photography. And I was like, whatever. I'm not even gonna like say anything. And then I sat there like upset. But yeah, I'm a nerd. I blog and like check out all the forums and stuff. Yeah.
Well, you know that now there's going to be like hundreds of people going to photography forums trying to work out.
Hey man, I'm in all of them, and I recently just got I'm a huge Leica fanatic. I love Leica. I've owned one since I was 9 years old, and then now I'm like getting into this whole like Fujifilm world now. And I always have been shooting on film, but now I'm shooting on this Fujifilm X100F. So I'm on these forums looking at all these X100F photos, because I like to feel inspired by other people's work. There's always someone that's going to be better than you, and that's where I always try and hang out, is where people are better than me.
Well, that sounds like a beautiful thing, and I can't wait to see what you do next, and the book, and meet you at Oz Comic Con, as all people at home should.
Yeah.